Hey guys, welcome back to my channel.
Hello beautiful people, and thank you for being back. My name is Suda, and oh, by the way, I'll have my social medias up here, so if you like and if you'd be so kind, so go follow me on Instagram and add me on Facebook. Of course, I'll accept your request. And let's get into this video on signs that you are toxic. Alright, of course they again are in no specific order. They're just observations and experiences that I have listed down to share with you. So I hope you enjoy. Yes? Alright, good. So let's get into the signs that I am toxic. And of course I am no doctor or anything like that. I'm just giving things, I just listed down things that I have observed and that I've experienced with my own self and that I've grown from, and also things that I'm still trying to grow from. So let's get into them. Alright, so number one, never admitting that you're wrong. Thinking you're right 90% of the time. And I used to suffer with this. I said suffer as if it's a sickness. But I used to struggle with this a lot when I was in my mid-teens, probably when I was like 15, 16, 17, thereabouts. I used to struggle with this a lot. I used to sometimes I would literally be in an argument with somebody and like everyone around me is telling me I'm wrong, and for whatever reason I just can't see how I'm wrong. And if you're a person like this and you're noticing a situation like that, probably like almost every day, or people around you telling you girl, yes, you're wrong, whatever, you're the wrong one, and you still can't see that you're wrong, because you can't see that you're wrong because you're still looking at things, or at the situation rather, from your perspective, from your lens. So probably in situations like that, what you can do, or what I used to do, or what I did rather, to change or to grow out from that, I used to start sitting down, like being quiet. First, when a situation comes up, when things are getting too tense, I used to try to be quiet, sit down and try to look at things from the lens that they're probably seeing it from. Listen to the person you're speaking to and try to see things from their perspective, and then compare it with your perspective, and then weigh it out. That is how you deal with that. And of course that's how I grew out of it. I started to look at things from other people's perspective and not just from my own. And of course no one is right 90% of the time. No one is right all the time. That's if you find that you're a person like that, then you should probably try to do what I told you to do, or try to see if you have any other way to grow out of it. And I know a lot of these things are usually phases and we eventually grow out of it. So, but first you have to actually recognize that you're one of those persons. And it took me actually a really long time to recognize that I was one of those persons. So yeah. Oh, this one irks me the most, is this I know attitude. I was never a I know person, but when people do it to me, it irks me so much. It's one of those persons where they're putting on this pillowcase, right? And you're seeing that they're putting on the pillowcase wrong, and you're trying to help them put it on properly, put it on the way it's supposed to be done, right? And they be like, I know. Or you try to give them some new information and be like, I know. Everything you tell them, I know. They always know, but yet still they're still doing the wrong thing, but they know. People, if you're dealing with a person like that, it's best if you probably talk to them once about it. That's what I would do, at least. Talk to them once about it. If they're still like that, then you just have to leave them on their own for them to grow out of it on their own. However, if you're a person like that, then all for me, everything is first is recognizing that you're one of those persons. And recognizing that you're one of those persons wouldn't just take you, it wouldn't just be something that you stay there and just think about by yourself and be like, oh, you know what, I know everything type of person. You don't really notice your faults. Somebody usually have to point them out to you. So if by chance you're watching this video and you know that you're one of those persons who constantly say the words I know, or constantly tell people I know how to do this, I know how to do that, thinking that people don't need to show you things, or you don't need help with things because you know it all, then first thing to do is recognize that, well, you are one of those persons, and then from that you would start listening to people more. Even if it is true, even if in that instance, yes, that you know something and you know how to do this thing, you never know. My mother always told me, you can know how to do something, but you don't know how much more that person can know from you. So even if you think you know how to put on this pillowcase, maybe there's an easier way that that person know how to put on the pillowcase that they can teach you better. So you never know it all. You never know it all. You can always learn, you can always grow, and you can always put on a pillowcase better. Alright, so this next one is one that really, really irks me. The my way or the highway type of people. The if things don't go their way, or if things don't go your way rather, because this is a video for you, then it's a whole upturn and it's a whole brawl. It's like, if things don't go their way, if they ask for a vanilla ice cream and then they don't get vanilla but they get strawberry, it's a big brawl, it's a big tantrum throwing party and all that. My way or the highway persons, people like that, they usually can't last long in relationships with friends or family or any type of relationship, usually because people get really tired of my way or the highway type person. I was never a my way or the highway type of person, but even today I have to deal with those types of persons, and I'm not quite sure if it's a sign thing, but I find it to be a lot in people who are Virgos, but that's for this situation. But yeah, my way or highway type of person, and like everything else, you have to actually recognize it in yourself and then work to grow in it. Learn to compromise more. For this one especially, you need to know how to compromise. Things won't always go your way. Things aren't always supposed to go your way unless you're on an island by yourself. And like the saying goes, no man is an island. And since no man is an island, there are other people around you. There are other people around you that you need to communicate with, that you can't live without other people, other human beings. So everything won't always go your way. You have to compromise sometimes, especially if it's something you're doing in a group of people, a group work, or whatever it might be. You being a my way or the highway person, it wouldn't take you very far. And if you're one of those persons, then first you need to recognize it in yourself and then work gradually to change it. Of course, we wouldn't get up one day and just the habit just disappears, but probably when you're behaving like that, even if you start to behave like that and you don't notice it, when you're halfway through a conversation or halfway through throwing your tantrum, you can stop yourself and remember and say, everything cannot go my way, and learn to compromise and adjust. Number 4 signs that you're a toxic person is you manipulate people because you know they need you. And this, I wasn't the type of person to do this, but this actually happened to me. You know, sometimes you get yourself into situations where it might not be for a long time, but for a while, that this person has this leverage over you, and there's this, you're still trying to work around not having to go through them, you know, but this person has leverage over you. But if you find yourself to be in a position, or if you know that you constantly put yourself in a position to have leverage over somebody just so that you can manipulate them into doing whatever you want to do. Let me give a random scenario. Let's say you're the husband in the household, and then you have your wife, and she has probably like 6 children, and she's working or whatever. So she really needs you to be the foundation of the household, the breadwinner, to keep the family going and so on, right? So because you know that she has all these children to care for, and it's almost as if she needs you, so to speak, then you do throw tantrums, you throw away food, you come in when you want, you bang doors, you shout, you curse, and you do all those things just because you know, well, right now she cannot cross around you, she has to go through you, so you manipulate her and you do these things. If you find yourself to be one of those persons who actually deliberately put people in that situation just so that they need you, so that you could tell them move left and move right and manipulate them how you want just because they need you, then that's really, really toxic. And I know some people, sometimes they go so far and they get so comfortable in doing these things, even if they're called out about it, they're so comfortable in doing them, they don't even want to stop. So that's kind of a hard one to get out of. But if you find yourself to be one of those people, you first need to accept that you're wrong, recognize what you're doing, accept that it's wrong to be doing, although it might sound good. A lot of people say, I don't have friends, I have interests and all of these things, but although it might feel good to you, it might feel okay, it's benefiting me, so it must be good, right? Then it's still very toxic and it can only get worse. So first, recognize what you're doing, accept that it's wrong, and then gradually grow out of it. So this next one, and the signs that you're toxic, is always comparing yourself to other people, always comparing your growth to other people, comparing your shoes, comparing your clothes, comparing your house, your cars, your children, always comparing everything you do to other people. And to me, that in itself is more toxic. Not to the person you're doing it to, but more so to yourself. It's almost like you're robbing your own self. Yeah, that's what people say. It's almost like you're robbing your own self of your happiness, because it's like, if I get these 2 pillows, you will go and buy the, oh, she got pillows, okay, but she got 2 pillows, okay, but I need to go out to town tomorrow and get 4 pillows to just show her and prove to her that I'm so much better than her. And I think for a part of time I was like that, especially in high school. I found myself to be that type of person. Luckily I grew out of it really quickly, and it was, I think, my sister, I think it was my sister that spoke to me about it. She was the one who recognized it in me. At first, like, I was like, no, I'm just, I'm just that, But first, you have to get someone to sometimes you might have to get someone to recognize it in you. If you're lucky that someone recognizes it in you, or if you've recognized it in yourself, and then grow out of it. You don't always have to compare yourself to everybody. It's not because, it's like this thing. My grandmother used to always say, not because that dress looks good on her, that means it will look good on you. Yeah, it's a pretty dress, but your body isn't her body. What fits her wouldn't fit you. If this haircut suits her, doesn't necessarily mean this haircut will suit you. If this this color looks good on her, that doesn't necessarily mean it will look good on you. What's for you will always be for you, and that's period. Oh my goodness, you guys, this next sign that you're toxic is so annoying, and I was never one of those people because, well, of what it is, but it's the only child syndrome. Has someone ever told you that you have only child syndrome, or has someone ever told you that, oh, you must be an only child? That is an insult. And let me tell you why that is an insult. Because that person sees that you're, well, toxic, and they might not necessarily think that you're toxic. They might more so think that you're selfish, or you can't compromise, or you only think about yourself, selfish, and so on, right? So this is basically what it is. People who have only child syndrome, they usually don't know how to interact or necessarily play nice with other people. They don't feel that they are obliged or obligated to do anything for anybody, because they're used to being by themselves. They grew up as an only child. They used to always being by themselves, always having their own room, always having their own toys, their own clothes, their own shoes, their own everything. So now that you put them in an environment with other people, they don't know what they're supposed to do. Let's say, what's a good example? Let's say, seconds, what is up in gate? It's just the PTSD. Okay, so yeah, they don't necessarily know how to interact, how to get along, how to mingle with other people. Sometimes I think that's something they can actually, or people like that can actually grow out of. They don't necessarily always have to, might not necessarily need somebody to find it in them and for them to correct it. You probably eventually, I suppose, since their social construction would be changing, they would be around people now, they would notice that then they have to alter their character, alter their behavior, alter the things they usually do, and the treatments, the special treatments that they usually get to suit the people around them. So that's probably something that someone who suffers from only child syndrome can grow out of. And don't get me wrong, I have met people who were raised up in a single child household and they don't have my mother was an only child. She doesn't act like that. My cousin, my aunt's daughter, she's an only child. She doesn't act like that either. But there are other people, probably even people who weren't only child, what is going on with my English? People who wasn't raised that way, who wasn't the only child in the family, but they still act like that. But it's something to do with your social construction and the way you were raised and so on. But I also think it's something that people can grow out of. So that's it for only child syndrome. Alright, so the next sign that you're a toxic person is when you feel good when something bad happens to someone else. And this is, I feel like that one is the work of the devil. It's like you have this smirk, this smile, this joyful feeling in your stomach when something bad happens to somebody else. It's almost as if, you know, I had a friend like that, you know, and I could have tell, even if something bad didn't happen to me, but when something bad happened to somebody else, she would give a little giggle or a little side smirk or a little good for her type of thing, type of energy. And I noticed about her, I was like, this is toxic. And when I say, well, she's toxic, I don't mean if you have one of those, if you have one of these things I listed down that you're a toxic person. You just mean that that way, that character, that trait in you is toxic. It is something that is toxic. It doesn't mean that, oh, you're a whole bag of toxicity walking around the place. It just means that you have a toxic trait. But if you have more than 3 of them, then you probably a toxic person. But who am I to judge? I have traits in me as well that are toxic. So yes, so this point on feeling good when something bad happens to others. And I feel like this may be one of the most difficult things to get rid of, but you probably have to pray about it, because it's probably like an inside feeling. So you really have to pray about it. It's not just something that, oh, I can shut up when somebody talks to me, or I can speak up for myself when I'm being bullied, or it's something physical. It's more so something inside. It's a gut feeling, something that I'm explaining so as if I've been doing this, anywho. Yes, I think it's something that you have to pray about, ask God to take out of you, to cleanse you of that, so that, well, you would feel more easygoing, and things, regardless what happens to something good happens to somebody, that it wouldn't really bother you, because you know yours is coming, and it is. And that's on what? Period. Alrighty, so we have come to the end of the signs that you're toxic video, and I really do hope you enjoy it. And if you did, then please do give a thumbs up. If there are any other toxic signs in people that you notice that you would like to list down, or that you would like people to know, then you could comment below. And if you like my channel, if this is the first time you're coming to my channel, hi, then please do subscribe and turn on your notification bell, so that you will get a notification. I'm so passive. So that you will get a notification each time I post a video. And like, I really don't want to end this one, but bye. Hey, before you go, subscribe to my channel here, and watch this video over here. Thank you.